The Minnesota Timberwolves have enjoyed one of the most shocking and incredible seasons in the NBA this season. A lot of people expected these guys to miss the playoffs before the season began, but instead the Wolves proved that they aren't only a playoff team, but they're title contenders. A lot of credit goes to their young star shooting guard, Anthony Edwards, and rightfully so. The kid's taken the league by storm. But behind Edwards, the team is jam-packed with great players in their respected roles. And one of those players is Naz Reid, the 2023-24 Sixth Man of the Year. Obviously, winning such an award highlights an outstanding season for Reid coming off the bench, but some fans might not realize how truly dominant Reid has played in his limited number of minutes this year. On the surface, his numbers look solid. 13.5 points, about 5 rebounds, and over 40% three-point accuracy off the bench. Impressive, no doubt. But to really examine his dominance, you need to watch how this guy contributes, and then look at his analytic stats. Because the truth is that Naz Reid is an absolute menace who played at a star level in his limited minutes. He's transformed his body and evolved his game to that of a rare type of weapon at the NBA level, and the scary part is, at age 24, he's still only getting better. For those of you who've been watching Minnesota all season long, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Naz comes off the bench behind Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert on the depth chart and then absolutely wreaks havoc on the court. At 6'9", 250 pounds, Naz is a fierce competitor, a disruptive defender, and an offensive maniac. On the defensive end, he brings a high engine and elite physicality. In fact, of all the players that played a minimum of 60 games this season, Naz Reid finished third in the entire NBA in defensive rating, behind only Victor Wembanyama and Rudy Gobert. Naz makes nothing easy for his opponents both inside the paint and on the perimeter. He blocks shots, grabs boards, and even causes chaos around the perimeter using his size and mobility to frustrate even the best wing scorers in the NBA. He takes pride in his ability to guard any position and has evolved into one of the few players capable of doing so in the league right now. Often, this unique skill set allows the Wolves coaching staff to use him as a matchup buster. See, the Wolves' other two bigs, Cat and Gobert, have limitations to their games that Naz just doesn't have. Gobert is one of, if not the best interior defender in the league and creates space for his teammates on offense by setting screens. But he can't shoot the three ball, and opponents know that. So when Gobert's on the floor, paint protectors know they don't have to defend Gobert on the perimeter and can focus on contesting shots around the rim. But the Wolves always have the option of deploying Naz in the center spot, giving the Wolves a full lineup of players that can drain threes. The Wolves' other star, big, Karl Anthony Towns, can launch threes with the best of them, but has some defensive limitations due to his lack of speed and quickness. Fortunately for the Wolves, they can throw Naz on the floor for better defense while still having a matchup buster who can shoot threes and score around the rim on offense. And when we say shoot threes, that's a vast understatement. Naz Reid this season has developed into one of the best three-point marksmen in the entire league. And the stats tell the tale if you extrapolate his shooting numbers over a 36-minute basis per game. Yeah, 2 threes per game, which Naz hits, is impressive, but then consider the fact that he only plays half the game. What would paint a clearer picture of his shooting prowess would be his 3.1 three-pointers at 414% accuracy per 36 minutes. That's the same amount of threes per 36 as stars like Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, and Damian Lillard. And guess what? Naz shot a higher three-point percentage than any of those guys this season. Obviously, the aforementioned names are taking more difficult threes than Naz, who shoots most of his off the catch with his feet set. But still, anyone who comes in and knocks down that many threes at such a high rate is a damn good shooter. And when you dig deeper, his analytic stats only get more impressive. Tell me, how many players in the NBA made three-pointers, recorded over 7 rebounds, and scored at least 20 points per game per 36 minutes this season? Answer: 3. Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, and Naz Reid. How about this one? Which players in the NBA scored 20 points, 2 threes, and a block per 36 minutes? It's a short list that consists of Kevin Durant, Victor Wembanyama, Miles Turner, Jaren Jackson Jr., Pacers' Jalen Smith, and Naz Reid. How about 20 points, 1 block, and 3 threes? Just Naz Reid. The guy's a legit one-of-a-kind weapon that the Wolves can unleash off the bench to create mismatches on both ends of the floor. On almost any other team, this guy's not just a starter, but a borderline all-star player who hasn't even reached the prime of his career. And the Wolves hit the jackpot when they signed him after going undrafted out of LSU and even extended him to an affordable 3-year contract that kicked in at the beginning of this season. Now in the playoffs, the world is figuring out exactly why the Wolves have been so hard to beat this season, and Naz Reid is a massive reason why. So here's the question. How good will Naz Reid be in the prime of his career? In a couple seasons, he'll be 26 years old and could become a free agent. How good will he be then? Well, a huge question is whether or not he can continue to shoot the three at the level he has. If he can, he'll be one of the best 3 and big men in the entire league. He doesn't have superstar potential like Wembanyama or Chet Holmgren, but his abilities still are incredibly rare. Although he's not quite the shot blocker, he's more accurate from 3 than Miles Turner or Jaren Jackson as a shooter, and he's a better shot blocker than Michael Porter. The fact is, Naz Reid offers an incredibly rare skill set, and there are only a small handful of players that can play that specific role that he's capable of playing. It's early, but we already have to start looking at whether or not the Wolves are going to prioritize him over Towns or Gobert in the rotation. Because one can argue that his versatility on both ends of the floor make him the most complete player of the bunch. Fortunately, if you're a Wolves fan, you don't have to worry about that for a while. All 3 of them, as well as Edwards, McDaniels, and Mike Conley, are locked up for 2 seasons after this one. During that window, the Wolves could very well win an NBA title. And who knows? The way their team is built, a dynasty isn't out of the question. But we're probably getting way ahead of ourselves. And we want to know what you guys think. What is Naz Reid's upside? And how can the Wolves prioritize his deployment and development with Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert still on the roster? Let us know in the comments section, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more sports news and insights. Thanks for watching. See you next time.